Hello, this is Dave Gimberline, and it's February 22nd, 2021 for the University of Minnesota Shotokan Karate Club. This first session will be very much a beginner class, then we'll take a break and it'll be more of a regular class, so please train along. Thank you. Well, we start by lining up, which is a little weird now because we can't be close together, so we line up spread apart. So, yes, excellent. And we do a formal bow. This is a traditional Shotokan Karate class, so it turns out there are traditions. And one of those is how you bow, how you stand, what you talk, stuff like that. When you kneel, which is called seiza, you stay straight up and down. You go back with your left leg first, your left leg. So this goes this way, and you keep your balance. Your knee basically goes where your foot was. You cross your feet behind and you sit. And you come up the opposite way, your right leg goes first, keep your balance, come up straight. And the thing to avoid is the, oh God, like that. That's not very dignified or martial arts ready. That means sit, pretty much. It means assume the seiza position. So then, don't cross your ankles up. Cross, like I have my feet crossed. Some Japanese cross their toes, like that, just their big toe. Some of them say they switch all the time. I just do this because this is what my two instructors did, and I copy them. Other people have choices. If you care, men, they say, should have one or two distances between their knees. Women should have their knees together. It's just the way it is. It comes from a formal Japanese sitting tradition rather than so much a martial tradition in this particular instance. And but the ability to get up and down and move side to side from here is still a thing that people study and it's worth working on. To start class, Yufeng is going to give us two commands. On the first command, he's going to say makso, which is the kind of the meditation thing you do. Close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then he'll say yame, which means stop or open or ready. And then we bow to the front, which is the shoben. And then we'll bow to me as the teacher or sensei. And then we start. And if you forget, just copy what everybody else does. So. And usually I say spread around because we line up shoulder to shoulder, but you're already pretty spread. So we do a warm up in general, pick up one foot, roll your ankle and toes, switch other way, other foot. Number one thing you can do to reduce joint injury, other way, is to roll out your joints before you start doing stuff. Put your feet together, go down with your knees. It loosens up the tendons and ligaments surrounding your joints, other way, and it actually lubricates your major joints with synovial fluid produced by the sacs of bursa. Switch on your hip. Switch. Use your legs. Pump your arms around. The more you can do with your legs, the better off life is going to be. Switch, okay? So actually try to pulse in a rhythm that makes your arms move. Cross. Twist, look behind. Kick up your heels. Put one leg in front. Put your arms arms out. You're just going to swing your back leg up, get your hands just to stretch. One, swing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch feet. Kick a little harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put your feet apart. Turn your toes out like you're standing on a line. Squat all the way down. Stretch out your hips. Put your hands on the floor. Straighten your legs. Squat. Straighten. Squat. Straighten. Squat. Straighten. And squat. Put your feet out behind you. Arch. Breathe in deep through your nose. Out through your mouth. Stretching back. Touch your chest to the floor. Stretch your neck, your shoulders, your back. Forward again. Pull your feet in. Squatting. Feet apart, gyaku-zuki. Stretching down and forward. Back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Reach over one shoulder. Switch. Side. Switch. Around. Switch. And stop. Let's pivot. Face this way. Bend your knee. Turn, face the other way. Turn. Stretching deep. Follow your foot. Drop your hip. Reach up. Open the arms like you're holding a giant ball. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Twist, look over your right shoulder. Touch your head to the floor by your front foot. Hand up. Straighten your leg. Take your right arm. Reach down as far as you can. Reach and exhale. Come back. Reach. Reach. Reach, and reach. Switch other hand. Reach, 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 and reach. Turn. Face the way. Stretching deep. Bother by foot. Drop your hip. Reach up. Breathe deep. Open the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Twist, look over your left shoulder. Touch your head to the floor by your front foot. And back up. Straight leg. Reach down with your left as far as you can. Reach, and then come back. Reach, exhale. Back. Reach, back. Reach, back. And reach. Switch hands. reach, back, reach, back, reach, back, and reach. Back, keep it out. Straighten one leg, keep both feet flat. Switch. A little deeper each time. Switch, 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 switch and drop down over here. So here, try to keep this foot flat. Try to keep this foot pointing straight up to the ceiling. Take your left elbow and push your knee out. Take your left elbow and push your knee out. Switch over to the side. Switch, 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 and switch. Stay on the side, rotate like you're facing the wall, and continue over until you're looking back at the mirror behind you. And then back, and then over, back, over, and back. Switch over to the other side. All the way over. Fix the outside of your thigh. Back. Over. Back. Over. Back, over, and back. Pull your feet in, squatting. Straighten your legs and stretch down. Roll up. Round with your hip. Switch. Side, side. Squeeze one knee up into your chest. Switch. And pull it to the middle. Switch. Try to get your hip in front of your support foot more. Switch. Switch. And switch. Shake up your legs. Turn to uniforms. By the way, you can turn back so you do that. We can get you a uniform if you like at the end of today or next time you come or whatever. There's a 90% chance we got one for you. Do you know how much they are?
I don't.
Cheap. So we're just going to start with some basic stuff. And a lot of it might feel very familiar. But the things that I think are important might be different. So, can you two trade places, please? There you go. Feet together with your heels in and probably your toes out. Then you move your left foot and your right foot to yoy position, or righty position. You're going to make a fist with your elbows in and your palms up. The tips of your fingers are going to touch the pads right here, nice and tight. Then they roll in, and you put your thumb across at least this first knuckle here, first finger. Put both hands out in front, but don't worry about turning your hands all the way over. That tends to lift your shoulders and lock your elbows out. Put your shoulders down, and if it's a little less, that's fine. Pull your right hand back and leave your left arm out. You're going to brush both elbows against your sides, this elbow and this elbow, and then twist your fist at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bounce the arms a little bit, just loosen them up. Check out your legs a little bit too if you want. I find people get feedback quicker if I push or pull on them, and normally without COVID, it's easy. With COVID, I try to use this for distance. I probably won't hit you, in some malicious way. Some people need some motivation sometimes, but not particularly. When you stand up in second position, try to imagine your body center is going towards the target all the time. So this will be slightly in front of your feet, not slightly behind your feet. You squeeze forward just a little bit. This is a different way, I guess. Your legs should be straight but not locked. So here's the thing. Locked, slightly bent. Locked, bent too much. That's too much. You just tuck this forward a tiny bit, and it makes your legs still straight, still strong, but not locked. Locked is usually bad. Gotta say always bad. Can't think of a time when you lock out a limb, because it becomes less useful once it's frozen. It's always slightly soft, slightly bent. You put your feet a little bit further apart. There you go. Put your left hand out, right hand to your side, pushing forward from your center. Well, left and right problem, I can see it. Stay nice and tall. Into your arms. One. Push forward. One. Yep, like that. 2. Shoulders down. 3. So this weight on your feet right now, you want that to go to your hand. Pull your shoulder down. Like that. So that's that. 4. 5. 6. 7. When you start, just a little more zip. So you're twisting in, twisting in, twisting in. 1, much better. 2, 3, keep your chest up. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to ki. Ki is a short yell at the end of the technique. Ready? There you go, that's punching. So there are a few different ways, many different ways to make power in karate. Mostly we try to do whole body action, and whole body action almost always means use your legs. So even standing here, your leg pushes into the target when you hit. You don't just punch and quit. You punch like you're going to hit something. Another way is using rotation. So if we are here, this is a front stance, I want to keep my legs again slightly bent because I want them to be useful. I want to feel like my feet are grabbing the floor and my legs are going to drive my arm out to hit the target because your legs are bigger and stronger than your arms. So you could just stay here and do this, but then you don't have that. You want kind of a shock wave, and you want mechanically that your body hits at the same time as your hand going as quickly as it can. So we're going to step out into a front stance. Feet apart. Just put your left leg forward, front stance, right? They say this should be 1 hip distance wide, this way, and 2 or 2.5 long, depending on how flexible you are. The idea is kind of like you're pushing on something, and you want your leg behind you to be able to push. As it happens, if there's not something there, this is extremely unstable, so they straighten this, but keep this. So imagine pushing on something, but you're straight up and down with your body. You can put your right hand out, left hand to your side. You're going to twist your hip and throw your fist towards the face for a jab. 1, rotate your hip. Then counter punch body. 2, twist back. 1, 2, 1, 2, forward, inside. 1, forward, you're leaning back just a touch. There you go. 2, forward, the foot back. 1, there you go. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So right here, when you punch, you get a little hollow, straight and tall. 1, 2, 1, 2. Switch hands, switch feet, other side forward. Nice tall posture. There you go. Then you're funding a little more. So if you don't have a mask on, which nobody here would ever be that way, but if you did it, hypothetically, when you look down with your eyes, you should not be able to see your foot. If you tip your head, well then yeah, you can see your toes. But if your knee is too straight, when you look down with your eyes, you'll see, oh, there's my foot. So you want it bent so that you can't quite see it. Your knee is moving forward. All the way down. Can you slide that by a little bit? Thank you. So when he came in, he put all this stuff where he was supposed to go and decided he was ready, then he kneeled there and wait. Again, tradition, just wait. It is, part of it's just tradition and respect for the class and for the teacher. Part of it's safety. You don't want to be running in and out and maybe somebody's kicking, punching, maybe it's not something where I just want people jumping in. Lots of rules. You'll figure it out. Counter punch up. Nice straight tall posture. Again, imagine your center hitting the target. Rotate, grab your face. 1. Other hand. Yep. More bend. 2. Twist your hip. 3. Shoulder down. 4. 5. You're leaning backwards just a tiny bit. Shoulder down. 6. 7. Twist, twist, twist. 8. 9. 10. 1. We're going back more. 2. 3. Twist. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Hey up. I'm going to ask you a second, shake out your legs. Can you come over here for a second? Put this on your chest. So there's 2 ideas at the same time that I want to tell you about. One is that when I talk about rotation, but I don't actually feel like my hips are rotating from side to side because that kind of makes you sway. The idea is more like if you took a pencil, perhaps a very large, tall pencil, you put it between your hands and you move your hands back and forth. These are going in a straight line, but this is spinning. This is your spine. These are my hands. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So my hip makes a shock wave forward to the target, not twisting sideways. And I want to coordinate it so my hip drives into the guy, and then again drives into the guy. Your leg actually hits at the same time as your hands moving. So many people spend years happily moving their hip back and forth and punching, and not getting that it's actually supposed to be the same thing. You're supposed to hit with your legs and your feet and your breath all at the same time. Left leg forward, counter punch up. Drive your hip forward and punch. 1. Drive your hip forward and punch 5. 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Switch hands, switch feet. Try the other side. Nice straight tall posture. Bend your front knee more. Bend your back leg a little bit. Or you can pull it up a little bit if you want. There you go. And then 1, drive. Push your hip more. 2. 1, 2. Bend your front knee. You will love this thing. Oh, it is so fun. If your legs are being used, when I pull on you, you won't fall over. Push. There you go! So your other side, for some reason, was better. This side was slack a bit. Counter. 1, drive and twist. Bend a little bit. 2, 1, 2. Uh-oh. But yeah, keep your balance. 1. More. 2. 1. More twist. 2. This is good except for your arms. Arm is too stiff to hold. Elbow down. Alright, for a second. So I tell people this a lot, but maybe not enough lately. You want to avoid locking out your joint because it tends to lift your shoulder and it makes your joints very vulnerable. Many people, like you, I think yours hyperextensive, when you lock your arm out straight where everybody else is straight, theirs hyperextended was past straight, which is super bad, super vulnerable. If you miss it, you pop your own elbow. If somebody taps it, they'll pop your elbow out of place. So in order to keep it in a strong position, you want to pretend like the tip of your elbow always points down, 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 down. I'm showing my fist. Down, 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 down. Not like that. Down, down, down. It only goes so far with your elbow still down. There's also a sensation from your elbow to your center of it getting tighter when it punches, not looser or further away. So let's put out, were we on our left leg or right leg? What did we just do? Anybody know? Well, let's do that again. Right leg forward. And put out. Twist and jab. 1, elbow down. There you go. Think about that. Elbow down. Bend that. Ooh, that's so much better. That's easier. 2. But it's a habit to allow. Head up tall. 1. Twist, 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 twist. Jab face. 2. 1. 2. 1. Hold her down. 2. Switch hands, switch feet, other side. Now you have your left leg in front. Yeah. Try 2 punches. I count once. You go head, stomach. Nice big turns. Take your time. Pull your drawing arm back more. Rotate your hip more so it's forward more. 1. Twist, twist. 2. Twist, twist. 3. 4. And 5. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Forward on your torso and your back. Just a little tiny bit. Like that. Since they're better on the front half, 1. Forward, forward. Almost. That was much better. Shoulder down. 2. 3. 4. 5. Key eye on the counter punch. Doing great for your first day. Does your leg ache, your thigh right here? Isn't that awesome? That means you're getting stronger right now. Oh, it's so good. And tomorrow, you'll probably be reminded that you were getting stronger today. Time puts out. 2 punches, 1 count. 1, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 2 pieces together a little more, a little large. 7, 8, 9, 10. Wiggly a little bit. Got it, counter punch. Ready? Good thing it's really only half the class. I mean, you know, we started so late. Any questions so far? You're doing really good. Everybody, but you two, your form is really, really good here and here. But in between, there's a roll sometimes or a little loss of balance. You want to keep really stable. So you end up really good. But maybe every once in a while it kind of feels like, it's got that little ripple in it. And sometimes it was awesome. It was like, whoa, that is really good. So just keep paying attention to in-between moves. We should kick. Our basic front snap kick uses the ball of the foot. So curl your toes, tap this part on the ground. Historically, and in kata, and probably for self-defense, most kicks were groin level or below. Groin, inner thighs, knee, inside your instep, ankle, inside your feet, low kicks. But not always. And Sensei Funakoshi, that guy, talked about how some kicks were really useful for snapping underneath somebody's chin. Well, either he kicked up where somebody's head was, or he put their head down there and then he kicked them, both of which are totally acceptable. But it's just that the idea of fancy kicks is not unheard of in the old styles. It just wasn't popular. Like now, we love to kick head, we love to kick high, flashing things. And the truth is, the more you lift your leg up, the more your groin and lower leg are vulnerable to being hit, stomped on, anything. So there's also a time, I think he calls it a triangle kick. And I think we see it once in a while in MMA. He says you need 2 walls. And I think he would jump, whoa, and come whipping around and kick somebody pretty advanced for some little old Okinawan guy that we think didn't know anything to do. So I find it interesting, the stuff that we think is new. Turns out, no, they always do that. Anyway, here's the deal. We're going to keep this here pad. You're going to go tap, tap, kick. As this gets your foot in the position, and then it's reinforced when it hits the target. It's really easy. I divide this for 5 and 6-year-olds, and so far, adults with them just fine. Tap, tap, kick. There you go. Tap, tap, kick. Another foot. Tap, tap, kick. Another foot. Tap, tap, kick. Good job. Yep, another foot. Yep. Tap, tap, kick. Tap, tap, kick. Okay, that's all right. No, I didn't move. When you, here's what I want to say. You can stand over for a second, put your left leg on the right leg, I guess. Just like, when I get to the target, I want my hip to be in front of my foot and leveraged in such a way that if I push, I win the clash. If I come up a little bit and I'm in a bad position, I bounce off. Maybe I'm strong enough to hurt him, maybe not. But just as a habit, you want to put yourself in a position where you can always be driving into the target. So this is why quite often we're in a stance when we hit, because I want that angle, and I want that angle, and I want that angle. It's the same idea. It's not like, oh, we're making up all this different stuff. It's the same thing over and over and over again. When you do the kick, it is important to coil. It is important to pick your knee up. It's important to extend, and then recoil, and then come back down. But that's just this leg, right? So we're going to practice that. But I want to put in your brain that the important leg is this one. So this leg is doing the work, but this leg is snapping to give me direction, angle. So they say it's like a whip, where you snap a towel, but the base of the whip is here or here, whip, 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 and your leg just goes. In slow motion, by the time I get there, I get the position I want to be, so I can drive through the target, deliver the shock. It does take a long time to understand directional expansion. But it's kind of fun to learn. So. Anyway, now I'm going to stop talking, we're going to do some stuff. Bend your knees, put your hands on your own shoulder, hip flex height, and put them out in front. You're going to pick up one knee and let your hip ride forward and then put it back. Your shoulders are down, your head's pretty much in the same place, and you're very stable. So not like that, not like that. Just forward to the center. One, up, down. Two, other leg. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chest. This part. Like it's lifting, they used to say lifting to the heavens. Lift right along here, because a little bit, you let it sink all the time. Lift. It's also, not that it matters, it's like a ballet. They get a frame, and they keep it. They don't break the frame. That would be so sad for ballerinas. Even worse for karate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should I like a little bit? All right. Now when you pick your knee up, it's going to stay there like there's a spring attached to it, and your foot goes out and back and then comes back down. So a problem that some people have is they drop their knee too soon, and it does not allow them to get their balance and recuperate their position. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. No speed, no power, just practicing the position. 2 coils, 2 kicks. Bend, hands out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do a little bit more out back. Down. 1. Just took 1, 2, 3. Kick. 4. Bend your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. here. Hang on, show you again for a second. We're going to do this exact thing. Moving across the floor. We'll do the last drill before we take our 5-minute break. In karate, balance and control is always super important. So quite often, people get so excited about kicking, they just fall wherever they have to be going. And anybody that has any training or experience would take advantage of that, and you would lose whatever confrontation you were in. So you want it to be that you're able to kick, control your balance, and control your landing. In case you have to switch directions, or in case you have to kick again, or retreat, or whatever, you're not just going to fall forward. So you don't fall forward when you step, you don't fall forward when you kick. You always control where you go by your center reaching out to where it is. So in this drill, we're going to start in a half a stance, a very short one because it's easier. You're going to bend your front knee a lot, more than normal. Your arms are going to be here. You're going to do the 4 counts again. You're going to go 1, and step forward, 2, and step forward, 3, leg easy kick, and step forward, 4, leg easy kick, and step forward. Here we go. Left leg forward, short stance. Knee up. 1, 2, 3, kick. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to take your back leg over and then turn. I'm going to try it this way. Same drill, same hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to coil your toes when you kick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back leg over and turn. Yep. Higher. Follow the feet together. There you go. Little things matter as far as etiquette and positions and tradition. And you will go places where the etiquette is different, even in Japanese or in Okinawan or any other style. But if you've been paying attention to etiquette, you'll see it. You'll be like, well, I usually bow like this, and everybody's bowing as well. Okay, just switch. Or I always, I don't know, you step out and they don't do that, they step back. Well, then do that. Do whatever it is they do, and they'll like you better. They'll like you sooner. So, I was at a seminar once with this master who was teaching, and he was at a dojo when they invited him. It wasn't part of his group. And I had communicated with him a little bit on email, so he knew who I was. And he had been there for a couple days before I got there. It was far away, hours and hours of driving. And it turns out he was kind of disgusted with the group because they did not know anything about etiquette, anything about how to move. He was just very, and I went up and I said, "Oh, Sensei, glad to meet you." And he scanned me, you could see it. Guess who was like his best buddy then for the next 3 days? And sometimes that's great, sometimes it's not. But just being aware of the etiquette can help no matter where you go. So anyway, 5-minute break, get some water. Thank you. Renee, you're doing awesome. Do you know where the bathrooms and everything are around the hall? Back on the floor, please. This time, Renee can go over down there. Did everybody else make all the straight lines? It doesn't matter. So again, some places really, really care, highest rank and lowest rank, or they want all the black belts together and brown belts together. I almost always would rather have them mixed because you learn from the people next to you. The only time is if you're doing drills or combinations or movements that aren't appropriate for a lower break and they're gonna get frustrated or get in the way or get hurt, then I start separating people or testing basics where you work on your stuff together. So. But otherwise, I'm happy with one big happy. Anyway, here we go. Left leg forward, this time fighting position this way. So it's kind of like a front stance, but maybe a little shorter, more 50-50 weight distribution rather than 60-40. Put your arms up in front of you as if this comes from your center to your fist to somebody's head. This comes from your center to your fist to somebody's body. You're just kind of covering using them. Bend both legs, turn sideways more. We're going to shift a little bit and then we'll do techniques. So pick up your front foot, slide it forward and pull your back foot up. This is called yoriashi. I want you to imagine two things. One is that your center reaches and then pulls to keep you together. And the other one is that there's sort of a down pressure. You're not ever going to be coming up because, again, you're a target as you come up. So shifting forward. 1, forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're a little bit too much in line. It makes you a target for sweeping. You have a tendency to turn your foot a little bit. Don't do that. It restricts what you can do. So kind of point your foot at the person you're going at. And everybody already seems to know this, but I'll tell you, make sure you stay as straight as possible when you move. You don't want your head to lead. You don't want your head to be behind. Forward, forward. There are times when you might choose to have your head slightly back from your body and arms, but only during moving, not when striking something. A couple more times moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn. 1, forward. 2, forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Turn away. All right, so we're going to do 7 punch. You're going to step the punch this way. 1. Shift backwards, downward block. 2. Shift forward, counter punch. 3. Then recover. Step forward. 1, 2, 3. Recover. Step forward. 1. Punch ahead. 2. Blocking. 3. Punching. Recover in. 1, 2, 3. 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 Turn away. Tie up for a second. Check out your legs. Okay. As you're shifting, try to keep both feet, but especially your back one, pointed more towards the target. Sometimes it starts to get left behind and it's just dragging. If you point it towards the target, you want it to be useful. So it's not straight, it's maybe 30 degrees, depends. And everybody, the more control you keep over your feet, the less you're going to get blisters or your skin ripped off your feet. But if that does happen, it's just kind of a normal thing. Extremely painful, but it used to happen to me all the time. And then it stopped. I don't know if my feet got used to it or if I got used to it or both. I tend to think, I always thought it was my feet, just getting conditioned. But But now I think it's not, because I have taken months and months off when shifting, and I can spend a good long series moving around and I don't get blisters. So I think, I mean, it's obviously both, but if you learn to use your feet sooner, it'll get better. When you shift backwards, don't let your knee pop out here. It is okay though to let your weight shift back a little bit more than normal. If you get that's fine. Just don't let this happen right now. Everybody, you're going to change your dynamic a little bit. So you have your left foot again. You're going to step and punch. And when you do, you're going to make sure your opposite hip drives forward to meet your hand. And the overall pressure is down into the floor. So right now you are stepping and your hip is just in a random place. And I want you to push it. Eventually your center hits, your fist hits the target. One. Opposite forward, down, down, down. Then you're going to release that and sink down to the floor. Down. And then you're going to twist down again. 3. Recover in. 7 punch. 1. Drive forward. 2. Back. 3. Drive. Recover in. 1, 2, 3. 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 Over in. 1, 2, 3. Over in. Keep your head and chest and back just a tiny bit. Recover. 1, 2, 3. Recover in. 1, 2, 3. Body straight. Recover in. 1. Now this one's planted. You don't get to move it. Just this one moves. 2. There you go. I meant that at the beginning. So yeah. You're doing fine. I just want to keep refining it. So you can feel sometimes like on the first one, like but then you got better. So just keep aiming with your whole body. Then this one pushes this one. And you kind of went, and don't do that. That's a delay. Here we go. One, 2, 3. Turn. 1, 2, 3. 1. Recover. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Recover in. 1, 2, 3. 1. 2, 3, shift. Cover it. Cover. 1, step. 2, shift. The first shift, try to move your back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just a few more. Cover. We're going to go with speed. Step and punch and ki here, and wait for the second count, and then 2, do that. Squeeze your head and ki there. Turn away. Right up. Rest for a second. So, I have a struggle on what to teach, how to teach it, when to teach it, because even if there's not COVID, there's priorities. If we only come 3 times a week, God, there's so much to do, and not that much time to cover it. If people start missing classes, they come once or twice a week, then they miss stuff in between. So, shifting is one of those things that's super important to the karate world, especially if you're going to do kumite, if you're going to spar. Turns out there's very little shifting in karate. Very little. Not none, there's some, but very little. And both kinds, this kind, Yorayashi and Sugiyashi, they're both in kata in different places. And there used to be maybe a little more than there is now, but they took it out because they just wanted everything to be stable. It turns out the shifting thing is not very important for self-defense. It can be, but being stable and being able to move is more important than whether or not you can shift forward and backwards and catch people in time. A lot because in self-defense, very seldom to say, oh yeah, and you're going to start a fight and you have time. It's a lot of times they're already very close, they're already holding on to you, they've already grabbed you, your options of shifting and stuff are not great. So I'm not saying you can never use it, you can. And understanding distance, that's huge no matter what for self-defense and kumite. We can't do a lot of distance stuff because we have COVID. But I will keep trying to work in pieces that you can use no matter what. If you continue on other places, other times, if you go into a competition, if we ever have them again. So at least you get the principles. I do want to say what Nishiyama considered to be super important was the ability to destroy somebody with your technique. And historically, they called this kizami-zuki, one blow, one kill, or one finish. And it turns out that came from the sword, a lot easier with the sword. So, he wanted to develop the skill, but he constantly told you don't depend on it, right? So you don't just figure I'm going to hit this guy so he'll fall over and done. You hit him with everything you got, and then if you need to, you do it again, till he's down. Different idea than what people think. And he designed our kumite, our tournaments, around that idea, always delivering finishing strong blows. But the world at large did not embrace that or understand that, partially because it's difficult to do, and partially because it's not an exterior thing that it's easy to see. So, one guy goes, ah! And it's all point. It was a terrible thing. And a different guy goes, ah! And that's better. But they can't tell the difference all the time. And then the other part of good technique would be applying it at a time when the person's vulnerable, which is harder for people to understand until they start to feel. So if I punch you and you're able to go and absorb it, bad timing on my part. On the same time, if I say look over there, and I hit you, that's good timing. That's opening go. So the same strike will do more damage at an appropriate time. So that's kind of what our whole kumite system is based on. But the karate system at large is shifting, moving, hopping, and they don't care about whole body technique at all. Some of them say they do, but they don't. So I've gotten a little discouraged because I think that aspect of what Nishiyama developed is just going to die away. So even at the great institutions, the JK, the Japanese Karate Association, pay attention to it. They don't, it's more just an exercise, a game, not intense like it should be. So, when I judge the tournaments that we have here, I am super lenient, and some people are not happy that we didn't call a point when somebody touched somebody. Whether or not you can touch them or even whether or not you hurt them has nothing to do with it. It's the type of technique you're trying to develop. Super hard to explain. And we won't talk about it anymore right now. We're going to do something different. Hands up, left leg forward, right? This time, shift in, shift back, come. So there's no set. Ready? 1, down, 2, 3. Recover. So it's always going to be your left right now. 1, 2, 3. Recover. And although I picked the downward block for both of these, it's totally random. It could be 1, 2, 3 with the palm, could be 1, 2 with the outside, it could be any block you want. I like it because it helps you figure out your legs and body and the direction. It's not always particularly useful. A lot of times people like to get in that. So it's more useful to practice blocks we have, but the dynamics go the same. 1, 2, 3. Recover. 1, down. 2, 3. That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Switch feet, right foot in front. 1, 2, 3. Recover. 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 So the second should be a little quicker. Switch feet again. 1, 2, 3. Recover. 1, 2, 3. Recover. The in between, more stable than this. 1, 2, 3. Finish. You didn't finish. 1, that's fine. 2, 3. Moving on. So your legs, good. You have to drive through your body. 1, 2, 3. Down, 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 down. Better. This part isn't doing its job like it should. Turn away. High up in the chair, rest for a second. All right, this is almost the same. We're going to shift in like we did. We're going to mostly pull this foot back and bend your knee like that. So you want to go forward. So it's not quite the same as 1, 2, 3, because I want this leg to be a little more engaged. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. So left leg forward, jab and shift. 1, mostly pull this foot back and block. 2, 3, 4. Recover. 1, mostly pull this foot back. 2, 3, 4. Recover. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Recover. 1, 2, 3. Good. You have to pick your knee up much more when you kick. Much, much more. Like up here in the middle of you. 1, 2, 3. So what we've done, there's an idea, we pick up your feet from your center, we drop them to move. We've done that before. So turns out that's here also. Boom, it drives you, it moves. But it's really big, so maybe we haven't done this in a while. Drop, drop, drop. That drop is the same shock as that shock that moves it. You get that? This is what I want you to do. There is not a time when you're going to go 1, 2, 3. When this foot hits, this foot goes. Boom! So it's going to go 1 like before, 2. When your foot hits, your other foot goes. There is power in the shift, in the exchange. If you do it after, it's not the same power. You lose the shot. You look curious. Was it a confusing explanation?
Yeah, good explanation.
It was a lot. Here we go. Left leg in front. Shift. 1. Now in 1 count, you're going to drop this foot on the ground and kick and then punch. 2. Over. 1, 2. Drop, kick, go. Over. 1. Whoops. 2. Over. 1, 2. Over. 1, 2. Over. So, if you're kicking me, I could move and then go back. Not going to do that. I'm going to move my foot so you think I'm moving. But by the time your foot gets to me, I'm already on my way back up. So, it's have to be half a step sooner. Yeah. 1, 2. Over. 1. Now you're going to go. 2. Sooner so. 1, 2. Turn. We're going to try this 1 count and see how it goes. And oddly, you have to be smooth and sharp at the same time. So take your time. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You launch your body in. You retreat this much and kick the guy before you go. 1, okay. So this is a confusing thing about what I taught. Is can you come here and put your you're going to shift in here and punch him. Yep, there it is. Okay, I want to avoid that. So one thing I do is shift my whole body out of the way, especially with my back leg first. It moves me. But I can stay here, kind of like what you wanted to do in the first place. Move this foot, and I gain just a little bit. And psychologically, he thinks I'm escaping because I did that. So one thing they might teach from time to time is your feet come together and then you kick and then you go. Your foot only goes as far as it needs to get the technique and then you hit it. So if I don't move it at all, I just boom, he'll hit me because he's got good distance. So I have to do something. And I'm going to move my foot just enough to get my foot in there. But it doesn't feel like I shook backwards. So, and the transfer is kind of what I care about. Drop, drop, drop. Let it launch and kick. Arms up, left leg forward. 1, shift, block, kick. 2, 3. That's much better when you kick your wiggle. I don't know what's wrong with that. You did just fine. 4, 5, just because I'm here, so pretend I'm not. 1, better.
Yeah.
Calm, calm, calm. You, calm, calm. Good. Turn. Just a couple times. Get on the last mae-geri. Kick it bunch. That's better. Turn it up. So the last one was very well coordinated. It's just still a little bit up and down as you move. So it might take a long, long time to get rid of that. But there's a calmness to the moving that you mislead. Hop your arms, hop your feet. So the first time that was really clear to me, I was teaching. I think, a purple belt, and the teacher didn't show up. And we had a gym full of people, and I said, I'm not a brown belt, I'm not a black belt. I can lead the workout if you want. I'm not teaching anything. And they said, okay, do that. So we did simple test basics. It was a beginner class. And it was a side snap. We were supposed to go 1. That was the whole thing. And there was a guy who every time I counted went 1, 2, because he felt like right when I counted he moved. But that didn't do him any good. In the time he did this, the guy next to him had done this. So he's half a step behind, even though he feels like he's quick off the mark. So it is a very, and I tried to point it out to him, I don't know if he quite got it, but it is true in many timing drills. You feel like, oh, I'm going, but that was a waste of time when you could have just gone. So Nishiyama was beautiful at this. He would have somebody over here, left leg forward, is fine. He said, ooh, I'm watching, you know, he's very complicated, right? And he's gonna step and punch. Oh, too much work, too much time. Very easy. He starts, no! You just do that. Just that, there was no wind up, no waiting, no nothing. To him, sen was the simplest possible response. And so that translates, as he decides he's going to step, punch him, right now. I don't have time to go and do it, it's already too late. I don't have time to go, okay, there is no wind up, there's no nothing, boom, go. And he demonstrated that over and over again. Not that many people can do it. I am not a good sen person. I'm a much better gono-sen person. Gono-sen is later. So I got to the point where if he was going to jab, that's not a jab. Every time somebody tried that, I could hit him. Every time. So all I needed was a commitment that I could get it. Every time. Come on. In free sparring, in tournaments, so that people wouldn't punch it. They'd move like this all the time and not punch. I was like, come on, this is the only thing I know how to do. But, so my thought is simplicity and precision. So this is better than that. Just because it's one less move, one less motion. No wind up and then go. Should already be ready. Whoa, go, pop. And some of them look very small. They don't look like great big techniques, but your body's behind it can be very powerful. And also, when somebody decides to attack, they're incredibly vulnerable. So, my advice often has been, if he has a knife, and he pulls it out, ah! And that's what he expects, right? Oh, God, are you going to run away? I mean, one of two things. He's going to threaten me, or he's going to stab me. There's not like, hey, look what I got at the flea market. It's not that. It's something bad. So if you train yourself, the second he pulls out the knife, drill it, just drill it. Don't even pay attention to that. Hit him. You might choose something different, right? Boom! Throw it right now. Don't worry about what's he going to do. Just hit him. So that's a defensive action, even though it looks like an attack. The pulling out the knife is the attack. You're already in trouble. So you don't get to practice that every day, but you can think about it in your brain, and that programs your muscle. So pick a technique that you like. This throat shot is fantastic. A long kick, fantastic. A longer kick, better, as long as you hit the target. But it is oftentimes that the best defense is a solid attack. And it's the last thing they expect. The last 5 guys they tried to stab all ran away or died. Right? Nobody attacked the guy with a knife. That's foolishness. It's crazy. Do that. Kind of holds true with a gun too. A little trickier. Because, you know, bullets and all. But concept's not different. You just have to use better techniques, better tactics to make sure you're in the right position, in the right range. They're not going to shoot somebody near you by accident, things like that. And of course, none of this you can do if you can run away or avoid it, or if you think you have a chance of surviving otherwise. This is the last thing I just thought of this. The other day we were talking about zanshin, being aware all the time. And that night, after we talked about it, there was a thing on TV about carjacks have increased by 400% since COVID started. So, in my memory, in the late 80s, early 90s, it is the first time I'm aware of that the news media caused crime. There was a couple isolated incidences in New York and in LA of somebody getting carjacked. They walk up, rip open the door, pull the guy out of the car, get in the car and drive away. Every news station across the United States told people that. This is what's happening. They're walking up to you at a stoplight, they rip open the door, they pull you out of it. So guess what? Just exploded, right? Everybody now they're giving them a step-by-step how-to manual. So it turns out one of the things you can do to avoid that is lock your car door, which is obvious and yet people often don't. But a place where you're vulnerable, and this is what about the zanshin thing, is now they have groups of people that look for somebody coming out of their house to start their car, and as they unlock the door to get in, they come running up behind them, knock them down, get in the car, and drive away. And they have that on the little ring cameras a couple times. So again, we're showing people how to do it. But we're going to use it as an awareness thing. If you're getting into your car, you're vulnerable, look around first. Is there anybody there? No problem, nobody there. If you're going to put something in your back seat of your trunk, look around first. If it's suspicious, do something different. Don't, or turn to see what are you doing? Look to see what's there. But when you're in your own little world, and I'm so guilty of, you're on your phone, you're thinking about where you're supposed to go, God, do I have all my stuff? And I've been aware of, I didn't even look around to see who was there before I opened my car. So it's a good habit. It's a good survival habit. The same thing is true of apartment doors. People wait by them. Getting on or off buses, people wait to steal from you, grab you, whatever they can do. Kids, parents get on the bus, they grab the kid. Doors closed, they drive away, or a train. Ugh. All bad things. And if something bad like that happens to you, now I have to talk about this next part, don't assume this is your fault in any way. I mean, you can follow all the rules, all the guidelines, be vigilant, and bad things can still happen. It's just the way life is. But I'm just saying, if you can avoid some, that might be great. And there's definitely been times when I've looked around and thought, well, that's not good, and go somewhere else, or something to diffuse it. And I'm not great at that, but so I'm encouraging people to be aware. That was it. That was the whole talk about that. It was long, do you think? Here we are, next thing. Definitely forward fighting position. Let's see. We are going to jab. This is a weird one. You're going to jab again moving forward, so that's one. You're going to pull your front leg back and do an outside block with your back right hand, and then a roundhouse kick, counterpunch two. So we're going 1, 2. Perfect, everybody. All right, now get your right leg in front. 1, in, 2, pull, kick, go. 1, in, 2, pull, kick, go. 1, 2, pull, kick, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. You got your block another way. Turn another way. So the way this works, you do again. Yep. Just a second, we got to figure out what I'm going to do. This one's fine. So, no, I don't want to do it. Be over there. If this might not work great if he does a short technique, but sure. No, really, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to try to attack. He blocked it, and he is going to counter it. And yeah, let's switch it. Block, counter. There we go. The deeper this comes, the more this dynamic fits. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe he steps. Switch. So I go 1, and you're going to step in, and he does that huge attack. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That circle, punch. That circle is my pick. And that's it. Always here with, partners and all. Kata is self-defense without partners, so this is just like that. Kumite time. Left leg forward. Shifting in, 1. You're going to pull your foot back, outside block counter, roundhouse kick, counter punch. Go. Yep. 1, 2. Work. 1. Slow. 2. 1, 2. So when you did this with me, keep moving. Let's switch feet. Nope, I was wrong. Switch feet again. When he comes into the side and you were by yourself, you did your arm. And so there are 3 separate things. When you did it with me, you moved your body so that your arm and hip were the same thing, which is good. So try to coordinate, plant this foot, bend it, kick, go. So this part isn't in there. Just touch it. You'll get plenty from your body. Here we go. 1, 2. Perfect. Cover. 1, 2. Cover. 1, 2. Turn it up. That's enough of that. There. So a kata is a series of movements against imaginary opponents. It's used for basic training. It's used for what used to be the core of karate training. They call them forms in some schools, forms. And the thing is, that by and large, they forgot what the kata are for. So they try to match it against kumite, where he's ready, I'm ready, and we do the shifting and the punching. When the action is very simple, that way or this way. So I've tried to reintroduce effective self-defense techniques as kata applications. So if I have an attacker that steps and punches, left leg forward, the main way they first see this is block, counter. Makes sense, right? Turns out in all of the kata, I do 30 different kata. Not one time do you step backwards, rising block, counter punch. Not once. If they meant you to use it that way, don't you think it would be in there? What dominates instead is stepping forward with the rising block. So if he starts at a normal height, throws a punch at me, I go 1, 2, there's my rising block, and then my counter punch is driving from very close distance into his body. So it becomes strike, strike as a basic action. Somebody asked historically, why do people punch from here? And because it doesn't make much sense, step and punch again, or just throw this in. Why would I put this? He can hit you with his hand, there's nothing to stop him, right? That's stupid. I agree, that's stupid. But a common attack is for him to hold me. Oh crap, I can't go anywhere. So if he's hanging on to me, I literally can't go backwards. That's why he's holding me. He's a little stronger, right? So maybe I'll stop this, but he'll just keep hammering on me until I go down, which happened 500 years ago, just like it does today. It's not like, they radically changed how your arms and feet work. So it turns out anything to do is to go forward. That's superior. Better than staying here where at his strength or trying to escape where I can't. Better again might be to come across his head and arm as he punches. But look, he gave me this to use. It's mine now. So as he throws this punch, I'm going to pull this down and in, scraping. Look where my hand is. Boom! Driving out in. 1, 2, just like he does there. So people just forgot because we spar from a distance, we do different techniques than actual self-defense. So I think all kata have self-defense techniques to each move. So we are going to do 3 kata right now, none of which you will know, but you're welcome to try to follow if you want, but normally I'd go much slower, but we're about out of time. So, hand yonda. Or do you want to do hand goda instead? Hand goda, number 5. I don't know, they think you're important. Move up a bit then. All right, so you come up there. You go back a step. So they're going to surround you. There you go. And in just a little bit. Out. There you go. Forward. 1. 2. 3. Look that way. Hand out in front. Shoulders down. Remember to reach out and cross. 1. Nope. 2. 3. Sit that way. Nope. Yep. Yeah, it's all right. We'll have to work on this, I think. 1. 2. X block. A little bit further apart. 3. Don't do that. So you're down here. They stay that way. They just go out from in. They don't do a twisty back. 2. Now they do a twisty back. 3. Oh, not that one. That's all right. Moving forward. Hit. 1, 2. Downward stomp. 1. 2. Shoulders down. Elbow. Pressing kick, elbow straight. 1, 2. Walk over here. 1. Touch your feet. That's the turn towards you. And now you can do the argument roll. 2. Look that way. 3, go. 4, stay out this way. 1, up through it, do it. Hand up, 2, 3, 1, spin. Hand up, 2, push your feet, 3, there it is. So we should stop because they want us to go past our time. Line up. No, that's me not being good at judging time. Thank you all for training. Class is hey, go. You can help put away stuff. We have to spray stuff. I don't know. Maybe Lauren can help you find this tool. Oh, did you want to look at a gi uniform?
Sure. I don't know how much it costs.
That's all right. She'll just owe us. Look at like a 5 to start. See what's in there.